What's up and good morning, guys? Welcome back to another video. We've got, I don't know if I should call this a special treat, but it's a video that's been requested for me to do for a very long time. And I've done like smaller versions of this on other channels. I've actually never done it fully for myself. And well, if you saw the intro of this video, you'll see why. It is a ton of work to get every single one of the trucks that I own in the same place at the same time. Unless I got like 3 or 4 other people with me to like drive and do other stuff. But moving all these vehicles by yourself, finally did it. We finally got every single truck that I own in the same place at the same time, which gives me the perfect opportunity to give you guys a full tour of my entire truck collection. I don't think I ever like anticipated having a truck collection in my life. Maybe we'll call it an addiction that we're just gonna like simplify by calling it a collection. I'm gonna give you a full walkthrough of all my vehicles today. I think it'd be fun to do like a least expensive to most expensive, and then one of these trucks is gonna be leaving. And it's good news for you guys. Trust me on this one. You're gonna wanna wait and see what happens. Now, before we get too far in this video, I wanna see your guys' list of what you think is least expensive to most expensive. I'm gonna tell you at the end of this video, but let me know right now, leave in the comment section. Now, I figure it's only right we do these things kind of in order of size as well. So we're gonna start with the mini truck here. This bad boy is my 2005 FAW, F-A-W, Chinese knockoff of the Japanese key truck, or the Hayatsus, whatever they're called. I happen to get the Chinese knockoff version of it. This thing is super rad. Bought it as a ranch truck. It's eventually gonna go out to the ranch once we get a custom window for it made, because I don't feel like jumping in this thing once the cats have been living in it, or the peacocks or anything like that. That won't be any fun. And, did a paint job similar to my gray OBS back there. Not quite the exact color, but we got pretty close. This thing is actually a dump bed, and we'll see if it'll do it right now. Kind of takes 2 hands because we need to get a new pump put on it. Until we have that pump, it takes a little assistance. There we go. So she is a full dump bed, which is why I wanted her to be my ranch truck. Custom headache rack built onto the bed by yours truly, as well as my good buddy Zachariah. We went ahead and put a basket over the cab just because we thought it'd be like a cool little feature to have on this thing. Other than that, she is very basic, very simple. Super clean truck though. Interior is very clean, minus the one window that's been missing. So this door panel got a little torn up, but we're gonna do custom door panels in here once we get the window made. It is left-hand drive, which is kind of rare on some of these trucks. Most of the ones you see people buying are imported right-hand drives. I prefer left-hand. It just makes more sense, especially being a 4-speed manual. Obviously in the US, we are more used to sitting here and shifting with our right hands. She is fully equipped. She does have, they call it air conditioning. I don't really know if it works as air conditioning. Look at that. We even got the old cassette tape player. You youngins don't really know what that is, which is funny because our parents used to tell us the same thing about 8-track players. All around though, just super cool little ranch truck. Moving on, we've got my pride and joy. Honestly, one of my favorite trucks in my entire lineup. That is my 1997. She does have the 7.3 diesel. Obviously, if you guys watch the channel, this is no surprise to you, but this thing is my baby. This is the most, like, I won't say custom work, but like, never had a truck where we've done full color change. So I don't know the exact color code, and I get asked it a lot on this truck. We took a like 2008 like cement gray that they used on the Chargers, and then we kind of changed it just a little bit, and then we added a pearl flake on top. It's always hard to get it to show up on camera, but hopefully you guys can see the pearl flake there. Now this started off as one of my work trucks. I beat her up a little bit, and I decided, this white paint keeps coming off every time I wash it. I should probably just repaint this thing white and get it actually clear coat on it instead of single stage paint. And then, like I commonly do, we took it too far. So full color change. We went ahead and added the GM tow mirrors, and a lot of people freak out that there's GM tow mirrors on a Ford. Trust me, put the newer style Super Duty mirrors on these trucks, they look horrendous. GM tow mirrors look absolutely killer on these trucks. So to do that, you got to weld on the plates here that I got from our buddies over at CP Attic. I got the dual plate system. It just is more rigid. So you weld in the plates, do all the body work, make everything blend in. The mirrors are from Boost Auto, and then we went ahead and had the caps painted to match. I wanted to leave the arms on this one black, which is honestly kind of the first truck I've done that on, because we do have a lot of black accents on the truck. The entire grille was done black. We've got a 2008 to 2010 bumper off of the Super Duties, and then we had that whole thing powder coated black. Every emblem on the truck, every piece of chrome trim or whatever was blacked out. So this just got a light coat of black on it. The homie Malik's pinstriped work for it right there. That is actually real pinstriping on there. Every door handle, keyhole, everything that we could have powder coated black, we went with black. Coming to the rear end over here, I do need to get a new bumper for it. This has been the OG bumper since I bought it. And yeah, eventually this thing's gonna get a new bumper, but we just sprayed this one black just so it blended in. Smoked the tail lights, handles black, badging all black. And then I went ahead and had a Line-X bed liner put in and kept it up on the top of the rails here. I don't like when the bed liners come too far down, so we kept it right at the perfect top line of that rail just so you can see enough of the black. It protects the rails, but still has more of a modern look. My goal with this truck was to take an old truck, but make it more modern. And I do daily drive this truck, so I wanted the modern conveniences, which we'll see here in the interior, which mind you is a little bit slash a lot of it dirty. The homies over at Ronnie's Electronics took my idea of wanting to make a modern center console for this truck and ran with it and just like blew it up, and they went overboard with it, which is awesome. And you guys know I love that. If you guys are familiar with these trucks, they normally have the little flip down center console. They have these tiny little cup holders that are about that deep that won't hold anything the second you hit the brakes. It just goes flying out. So I really just wanted a center console to hold with good cup holders. And I wanted it modeled after the newer style Silverados because they have like a giant storage compartment here, a bunch of cup holders in the rear, don't mind, they're full of trash, full working like compartment in the center. And the guys over at Ronnie's decided they were gonna make this into a sub box, custom work for it, lasered into the plexi. It's got one 8-inch sub down firing. This center console absolutely changed how like comfortable and useful this truck is. And it's monstrous, you guys can see. I mean, you could dang near sit on this thing if you wanted to. I've got the Sony head unit. Yes, I leave the plastic on everything. Full backup camera, because again, I wanted this thing to be modern, have the modern features, modern comfort. We're running the Banks IQ system for all of my gauges. And speaking of Banks, we've got some Banks goodies up underneath the hood of this thing. And she's gonna be a little dusty. I drive down a dirt road every day, but we've got the Banks intercooler, all the Banks piping that we went with this awesome Akbar teal. And I think it turned out really, really sick looking up underneath the hood. Super, super stoked with how this truck came out. This thing is my absolute baby. And I know everybody thinks like you have one OBS, you don't need any more, but you gotta have two OBSs. So this is my single cab F250 that has been solid axle swapped, as y'all can see down there. It was done prior to me purchasing it, so I didn't have anything to do with really a whole lot on this truck. We believe it's sitting on about a 6-inch lift or so. She is a ranch truck. It stays at the ranch, and it is meant to be an absolute workhorse of a truck. Oh, and a common trend you're gonna notice on all my trucks is pretty much everyone is running the Toyo MTs, my favorite tire. The gray truck is running them as well. I forgot to mention, we got some Mickey Thompson wheels on there. I wanted to keep this truck classic and old school looking, but still be modern. We did do a bunch of lighting on the single cab here. We've got some Phoenix IQ lights, which these from the push of a button inside the cab, they go from spot to flood and basically anywhere in between. You have like full functionality of it. We got a light bar down in the grill. And coming around to the rear, we've got the Flog transfer tank, which I still need to get the pumps for, but this is 75-gallon diesel, 35-gallon gasoline, toolbox, obviously old fuel tank. I've also got some Phoenix lights on the rear here. That way at the ranch we can see if we're working behind the truck or if we're backing up to a trailer or anything like that. All of it is controlled inside by the Phoenix lighting controller here, which come on, we've got all your options there. Again, there's the zoom in, zoom out for the Phoenix IQ lights there. And then rear lights, light bar, spot. This truck I've kept pretty bare bones and more utilitarian because this is my work truck, my ranch truck. We are gonna be making some pretty cool modifications to this one soon though. So y'all know I can't leave anything alone. Now we're gonna take a step out of Ford land for a minute. We're gonna jump into GM land. And this baby right here, I'm very, very, very proud of this truck. My very first truck ever was a Cat Eye Silverado. It was a 1500 HD, not quite the 2500 there, but I told myself at some point in my life I'm gonna be owning another Cat Eye. And my first Cat Eye, I did the big lifted on 37s, but through the power of Instagram, I noticed a lot of like street built Cat Eyes, and I'm like, man, those look really, really cool. I wanna build one of those. So I happened upon this old girl about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and I could not pass her up. We'll talk about the exterior in a second here, but this thing has an absolute mint interior. She is fully loaded. Leather seats, captain's chairs. This interior looks like it was almost in a time capsule. Like, this thing is awesome. It has every option you could have gotten, including the DVD entertainment system. She does have a sunroof on her. Went ahead and put a Kenwood double din in it. Obviously added a backup camera and all that, but this interior is 100% what sold me on this truck because it is so hard to find like virgin interiors. But this old girl, we took her to another level. As you guys know, the 05 Chevy, like Summit White, and I forget what the other white's called, but it was known for chipping, flaking, and peeling. And this thing had a couple rock chips here and there, and I was like, you know what? If we're gonna fix those rock chips, I don't wanna risk any of this paint job peeling because 05 was not a good year for Chevy paint. So this thing got a full brand new paint job on it. I mean, and she is gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful white paint job. We went ahead and smoothed all the black plastic on the bumpers and we painted those white. We blacked out the grill, so this isn't just like black plastic. That's actually gloss black painted in the grill right there. Blacked out the badging, went with some pretty sweet headlights. Boost auto mirrors again on this old girl. The modern GM mirrors. Had the entire mirrors on this truck smooth. All the black plastic was smooth. These things were fully painted white. We got the smoked LED turn signals and running lights in there. All the door handles, every little thing that we could touch and color match, we pretty much did. The guys over at Supreme Retros built some custom Recon headlights for us. These things were fully pulled apart, paint matched to the truck. Finally got the third brake light on. You guys have been hounding me about that. It's been sitting in the garage forever. I finally got it on though. We're good. Rear bumper was also paint matched. But this thing has got to be one of, if not the cleanest cat eyes out there. And I decided to step out of my comfort zone a little bit, and we went with the red Archon wheels, which this is never like something I've ever done. So these were powder coated by our friends over at Swift Powder, and they added a ton of sparkle into it. Hopefully you guys can see. They're not quite Bass Boat, but in person, it's pretty Bass Boaty. Now, being that I wanted to build a street truck version, I'm running the Nitto NT 420s. This whole world's new to me. I think it looks really, really cool. They're a nice girthy tire. There's still enough tire to wheel. They're not rubber bands. The ride quality's still good, and I think it has like the perfect kind of bulldogish stance to it. I love this truck. And moving on to the reason most of you, or a lot of you, are probably on the channel, that is my 2016 Denali. This was my SEMA build for 2017, I believe. Don't quote me on that. This truck is where I went completely all out. It's the most detail I've ever put into a truck. It's the most money I've ever put into a truck. We're gonna start at the front here. We're gonna work our way back. We've got a custom DB Customs grill, obviously Work For It apparel, workforitapparel.com. The grill is color matched to all the powder coats. So it's always hard to see, and you probably don't ever see it on camera, but there's 2 layers to this grill. And the back side right there is the transparent copper, which is my accent color on not only my wheels, but on my suspension as well. I had the factory headlights pulled apart and custom painted by the guys over at Legends Off-Road. Bumper wise, you guys know, our good friends over at Flog Industries. I'm running Flog bumpers front and rear. We'll show you the rear one in a minute. These are the absolute best fitting bumpers on the market, hands down. They're the only bumpers that perfectly fit the body lines of all these newer modern trucks. We even went ahead and had a custom grill made that matches the upper portion grill here. That way it ties the entire look in together. Running C4 off-road, pods in the front. There's 32 C4 off-road rock lights under this thing as well to light it up at night. Coming over suspension wise, this is where it gets really, really cool. So this is a 12-ish, it's kind of sitting at about 14-inch coilover conversion set that Bulletproof made for this truck. Now, as you guys know, these trucks don't come coilovered. It's a torsion style setup, and it rides like crap. The second you lift them, it gets even worse. Torsion bars and all that stuff, like, it's antiquated technology. I don't like it. The second I switched over to this coilover setup and got rid of the whole torsion lift, this is a true coilover lift kit. The ride is amazing. Like, I'm not just saying that. Anybody that's ever gotten in this truck will tell you the same thing. The ride quality, especially being at a 14-inch lift, is absolutely awesome. So this was the first one ever built by Bulletproof. I think to this point they've built 3 more of these big coilover conversion kits, but they definitely need to add that to their website. I don't know why it's not there. This setup is, like, bar none, the best setup they've ever put out for these trucks. This is the only truck that has the factory mirrors on here instead of the Boost Auto mirrors, but these are the factory mirrors that the guys over at Legends completely pulled apart, smooth painted as well. All the door handles, everything was color matched. When building this truck, I wanted to make sure that the entire suspension system wasn't just like stuff you see every day. So again, coilover conversion in the front, but coming to the rear here, we're running the absolute beefiest air ride setup that exists that I know of. That is the Ultimate Air Ride system. It is a true 4-link system. You guys can see the center cradle there coming back on the boxed arms. You can go tubed bars if you want, but I wanted to go for the more show look with the boxed arms. He sits on these big old airbags. Our good buddy Zach built this whole system here with the mounting plate. We've got 2 extreme air compressors. I'm a bigger fan of extreme air than Vi-Airs. They're quieter. I've had 0 issues with them as opposed to Vi-Airs, which are kind of disposable in my eyes. We're running dual air tanks. And since we're back here, we've got the Banks diff cover, which we were, again, one of the first to do, and we were the absolute first to ever do the Black Ops edition because I kind of screwed up and didn't really read their directions when they sent me a blank one to kind of do like the product launch. And I had it powder coated, and I was supposed to sand off all of the little ridges that you see there, like every other diff company does. And I didn't think that looked cool. I thought it would look cool to leave the ridges and we'll just sand off the logo. So I did that. Turns out I wasn't supposed to do that. But then Gail Banks and a couple of the other guys fell in love with the idea, and hence we formed the Black Ops edition, which is that right there, which you can now buy them like that on Banks's website. At the rear of the truck here, we've got, again, the Flog Industries rear bumper. We had a custom Work For It plate made with the transparent copper kind of mixed in there. Running the big old burly Gen Y hitch, and oh, she got a little spider webs on her there. Went ahead and color matched the stabilizer bars that go to the Gen Y hitch. And this thing isn't just for show. Like, this is actually the truck that I use most to tow my excavator. Because if you guys saw, I was using the gray OBS today to tow, and don't enjoy that. Even towing the single cab, that thing did not enjoy going down the grade. Had to pull over a little bit, let those brakes cool down. But this thing is actually my work truck workhorse. This thing is my tow rig. It's crazy, I know, but running a speed pole, flagpole system. If you guys have not seen them, check out Speed Pole, the absolute best in flagpole setups for your trucks. For wheels, I'm running the Fuel Forged FF19s. They're 22x14s. I like to leave enough meat and enough sidewall on my tires that if I hit a curb or a rock or something, I'm not going to totally destroy my wheel. So that's why I opt for a 40-inch tire with a 22-inch wheel. These are Toyo MTs, 40 15.5 R22s. Absolutely love these tires. Now I'll show you the airbag system going up and down. We estimate it's about a 6 to 7 inch lift when it's all the way down, and then it goes up to like a 16 to 18 inch lift. Let the air all the way down first. Now all the way up. So just to put into perspective the height, I'm like 6.5 inches there, and yeah, she's pretty tall in the rear when she's aired all the way up. Obviously with the truck being this big, we needed some steps, so we're running the AMP power running board, and you'll hear the airbags right there just kind of kick in. I'm running the AccuAir E-Level system, so you can pre-program your presets. 1's all the way down, I have 3 as all the way up, and then 2 is perfectly level. Now this thing will auto level, so if you hook a trailer up to it or you put a load in the bed, it'll automatically sense that it's not level. You probably see it going up right now, and it'll automatically adjust the airbags. You never have to touch them. See, it just let the air out right there because we came a little bit too high. Now, being a SEMA truck, you kind of got to touch every detail. So the seats were completely done here by the guys over at Roadwire Interior. I went very, very clean, white piping, white diamond stitched, as well as the custom work for it in all of the headliners. These seats are one of my favorite features of the truck. And there's probably gonna be stuff I'm gonna forget on these trucks, so you guys feel free to chime in if you see a detail that I missed or something like that. I don't know if you guys watched that intro and noticed that like I lined every truck up without the single cab. I kind of forgot about the single cab. It's an issue. There's too many trucks, there's an issue. Regardless, moving on, we've got my most random government auction purchase ever. That is my 1986 FMC fire truck. Yeah, like you can buy these online. So this thing I bought in St. George, Utah, which is just so, well, Hurricane, Utah, which just so happens to be next to St. George, which is actually the city that our friends Flog Industries bumper company is in. So kind of cool, kind of weird that that worked out in that small world. And a huge thank you to the guys over at Flog for getting the fire truck here to me, because this thing is not fun to move. She weighs about 19,000 pounds. She is an absolute beast of a truck. So this thing's super, super cool. I forget what they call these. There's a name for them, where the whole pump panel is up here. Still don't know how to use this thing. One of these days I'm gonna fire this thing up, fill her with water. Hopefully the pumps and everything still work. It was taken out of commission right before I bought it. So as far as I know, everything on this truck works. It's got seating in the rear here for 4. Got little sections right there so you can put your tank, your oxygen. I don't know what these patches are, but kind of cool that it came with these patches. If anybody knows what these mean, we got a whole section of E44s on here. Then they got these little man savers here so you don't go falling off the side of the truck. They lift up or they go this way so you can get out of the truck. I believe it's a 750 gallon tank on this thing, and one day we will figure all that out. But take you on the interior. This is every bit of 1980s inside this truck. Full like plastic wood grain dash on her. Super, super cool. This awesome vinyl pleated headliner that they have. The vinyl pleating kind of goes everywhere. You even got like, it's not quite diamond stitching, it's like diamond pressed, but like the little details they do on these things are cool. I guarantee this was not a cheap truck when it was built. Obviously full air brakes, everything on here. We do still have all of, we can turn our master lights on, and that turns on, you can probably hear the old lights spinning. Turns on all the emergency lights on the truck. Dual starters. There we go. Now, did I buy this because it's every kid's dream to own a fire truck? And last but not least, the truck that couldn't make it into the lineup because I don't feel like pushing it and it won't run. That is my 2006 F350 with a 6.0 diesel in her. And well, she has, yeah, we're on round 2 of 6.0 problems with her. So this thing just kind of sits. This was meant to be a replacement for my gray truck over there as a work truck, but it doesn't do you a whole lot of good when she doesn't run. So she is gonna be getting bulletproof soon. We need to buy all the parts and all that, but there ain't a whole lot to say about this thing. 2-wheel drive. And let me give you guys a quick little least expensive to most expensive. I'm not gonna say what I paid for everything because I don't ever like to do that on the channel, but let's go in order here. We're gonna start with least expensive. Obviously the mini truck right there, that is the least expensive. Then it moves over to the 6.0. Then we move back over to the single cab OBS, and just a hair more than the single cab OBS, believe it or not, was the old FMC fire truck. Then we go to the crew cab OBS, then over to the LOI, and then obviously the most expensive of them all being my Denali. So each one of these trucks kind of has a purpose, and I built the LOI as to be a really nice, really clean street truck. Well, this whole concept came about before I ended up buying the ranch, living on a dirt road, and this truck I do not want to destroy by driving it down a dirt road all the time. The paint job is immaculate. Like, this truck doesn't deserve that kind of a lifestyle. So as much as I love her and as much as she is babied, I hate to see things sit. And well, unfortunately this truck sits because I have just too many other trucks. Like, you can't drive all these. I don't care if you want to drive all these once a week. It's so hard to drive them all. They do all get started once a week, but there's just no way to drive them all. The LOI is gonna be leaving, but here's what's cool about it. And I've never done this before. I don't know if it's gonna work. I know I'm not the first to do it, but we're gonna try this. The old LOI here is gonna be a work for it giveaway truck. I'm gonna be very sad to see her go, but if there's anybody it's gonna go to, I want it to be one of you guys. So it's gonna work like every other giveaway that's out there. Basically, every $5 you spend over at workforitapparel.com will get you entered to win. I mean, it could be a cool t-shirt like this, a hat, honestly, even a sticker. Every $5 that you spend is one entry. And that's gonna win you this beautiful, immaculate cat eye Chevy. And you guys know how hard these are to find, especially diesels. They get swooped up like that. So I wanna be able to give this truck to one of you guys, as sad as I'm gonna be to see her leave. So once this video ends, head over to workforapparel.com, get your entries to win that truck. And I'm kind of nervous to see how this giveaway goes. Again, this is our first one we've ever done vehicle-wise. We gave away the 110, which went awesome, and it went to one of you guys, which was rad, but we're really stepping the game up here in giving away the LOI. I'm gonna miss you, old girl. I'm gonna miss you. You are absolutely beautiful, and I have a feeling it's gonna be one of like my bigger regrets of getting rid of a truck. I'm still having second thoughts about this, but it's a done deal. The sweepstakes company has already filed all the paperwork, so she is gonna be going to one of you guys. And with that, we're gonna wrap up. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed already, please click the subscribe button now so you do not miss out on any future content. Don't forget to give this video a like, aka a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out workforapparel.com, because if there's anything you want in this life, you gotta be willing to work for it. You guys are the best. I'm out.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah.